Hello and welcome in this web video in which I am going to demonstrate you how you can make use of the advanced importer functionality in the IDEA add-on for Spark Enterprise Architect. I started with an empty repository and I created a folder named import, and that is the place where we are going to add our material. The first step I'm going to take is I go to Specialize, to the IDEA add-on, then to the Assistant and a little bit hidden, but then you see there is the Excel importer. You need to have the ACE driver ODB installed to get this working, and once you have done this you are able to select an Excel file. So let's do so. I select here a folder with some material, and now you see that there are a number of elements defined, and here you can see that the definition of this element, this is a small table what you can use, and based on this I can go to the import definitions. The import definitions are based on the source column, and the source column you can do some filtering there, and you can after that tell some aspects what you are able to do with it. Furthermore, and that is new in the current version of this tool, is that you are able to define the mapping order. I predefined a mapping order, and let's take a look at that one. So I go here to this one, and this file loads me a number of definitions. And now you see that the mapping order is in place, and here you see those mapping types that are available. And there are a number of elements available here. Find a package by name, find an object and an attribute, find an object by name. You can get it since it is based on the name as it is named in the repository, and when the name is found in combination with the stereotype, it will update the element and not the content. However, when you are importing it multiple times from an external source, you can imagine that then it can be interesting that you add a tag value where you define which elements, which tag value is the key or the primary key as it is defined in the other source system. Furthermore, there are some interesting things, because with all these find elements you find here, you define that you are connecting it to the first one you select. And here you see find on name is the first one, and this is the first column, and that can be the starting point. However, sometimes it's more like a tree-like structure. When you only do this element as the first one, that is the starting point, and based on that you are going to traverse through the elements. However, with the last element it will remember the last element you selected and put it to there. So then you can make a tree-like structure of defining the elements. Same applies to object and connector. When you have two columns, you can say here, okay, that is an object and a connector. For example, here you see one. You see that L3 is in this case connected to L4 because that is the first one. And based on that, for this L3 source column, you are going to define an BPMN business process and going to create a dependency association. And here from L2, this is a last connector, and last connector is connected to L3, and it's going to create an Archimate business process, and it's going to create a dependency with an UML trace model. Here you can see how you can define the elements. You can add first the object type, then the model language, and please note two columns, and then the name of the business process, etc. For Archimate, since this is mostly used for Archimate, you can also use a shorthand and only give the name of Archimate. And on the background, the importer is going to import these, add these elements as defined here by themselves. Furthermore, for creating the associations, you can define the direction of the connector that will be created, and when there are multiple columns in your Excel sheet and you don't want to add them all, here you can define which elements you are not want to include and which you do want to include. Eventually here you can add some description for yourself, and when you've done so you can save the definition for using it multiple times. Here you see that you add it to a property, and here you see that you can add it to the target column. In this case you can use alias, keywords, author, etc. Those elements that are readily available in the Enterprise Architect data one. So let's do so and execute the import, and now you will see that it starts running, and you will see that it will create, in this case, a model from the L3 to Fiori name L3, L2, L1, and here L5 is in this model not included. So here you see that it generated something, and let's take a look. I'm going to create a simple diagram to give you an example, and I start here with the business process. This is the highest level in the tree, and let's do some insert related elements and add an element over here, and here you go, and then go to insert related elements and say, okay, show me that there is now a connection to a business model, and let's do that again. And here you see there is another element, and you see that slowly my tree-like structure is emerging. So let's see what's all happening. Let's add them all, and here you see that based on this there are links created from the highest level in Archimate to a second level in Archimate, and on top of that two business processes, and then back to Archimate. And here you'll see that this all is possible with the IDEA importer for Excel sheets. When you want to use this element, take a look at the sample import definitions that are there. And when you have wishes about functionalities, please do not hesitate to contact me, since it is quite easy to add functionality to the IDEA importer and make it powerful, especially for importing BPMN elements from an Excel sheet or Archimate models which are coming from an Excel sheet.